So yes, you guys are en route to New York to hopefully set up a summit where hopefully the two sides will agree to stop using magic for the purposes of war.
Would that make Mary's life kind of boring?
I mean, there's plenty of other things to use magic for. You know, large-scale sacrifice that would awaken Croatoan.
Understood.
And if both sides agree to stop raising the dead, that might be another.
We don't raise the dead, do we? Or do we? I guess we did.
We did.
No more sending the Walking Dead into battle. That could be a.
But I have a question. Does it still count as, the dead as like multiple people if it's only one person but his name is Legion?
I mean,
it's multiple dead people.
But if
you guys had Legion, they had all the zombies at Bunker Hill.
It balanced out.
There's a lot of people coming back from the dead that you might,
On an unrelated side note, is it supposed to be under flag of truce or under the flag of truce?
Under flag of truce.
Okay, got it.
So, yeah. You guys are en route to New York. Meredith has had this revelation shortly before leaving Philadelphia. Or I'm going to say you were able to send word back to Ben Franklin.
That was the other thing I was going to say. If you said no, could I have sent
Yes, I will say you can send word back to Ben Franklin, but you've had this revelation that
Meredith figures this out. She starts brainstorming.
Sure.
Yeah.
Test.
So yeah, we're just going to jump into it. You guys are on the road to New York, and Meredith is apparently
Yeah, Adrian, you're awfully quiet.
Yeah.
If you're saying we are already on the road to New York before I figure this out, that's fine. But if I would have had the opportunity to tell Ben Franklin, I would have.
All right, that's fair. You can have revealed it before you left Philadelphia, and you can have informed Ben Franklin.
Okay. Sorry
Hopefully
for ruining
this
your
is better.
potential.
It's fine. I always figure there's a 50-50 chance that you'd figure it out right away.
I didn't right away.
Yeah, I figured it would either be right away or not until it was too late. Is there anything you guys wish to do? You guys are able to interact now. If there's anything that needs to be discussed before approaching the city.
The conversation I would have mentioned before would have been occurring.
Sure.
I can't believe I didn't think about that. Obviously, if, they're part of a group trying to kill us, I don't automatically assume that they are bestowed with favor. Mm-hmm. But I guess that's my own ignorance.
We want to appoint a spokesperson so that we're not all just saying different things for something like this, which can be kind of delicate.
That would certainly make sense if one of you is the official.
I would nominate Mary because you're the one who knows most about magic and what would be involved by doing or not doing various things.
I would say I'm a good top two choice. However, I'm not the person who is connected to the lady who gave us this warning. What do you say, John?
Well, I'm chewing back and spitting in. Well, I don't know.
No, I don't think we want him as our spokesperson. Nope. Moving along.
Okay. I have a question.
But I do have a feeling,
Let's roll
lady,
you may want to take into account who has the various skills that would come into play with something like this. Specifically,
I completely serious look at Josiah and Thomas and Graham, and I say, who's prettier? And I roll charisma.
Not I.
I want to see what John rolls. I want to see what John rolls.
Oh, you want neither? Okay. Well, I'll roll, yeah,
For
that's not
kicks
gonna
and
be pretty.
giggles.
It's,
Hey.
it's my max.
That's not bad. He has a certain rough charm about him.
Yes.
Me, but not by much. Got it.
Yeah, Mary wins, even though John is doing his best to seem more ruggedly handsome than just rugged.
If there's a chance that we're going to be needing to have a spokesperson, I would believe somebody who's more familiar with the supernatural should maybe be appointed. In all honesty, I would.
And ultimately, Franklin will be going to do the talks. You're just there to get, negotiate a time and place.
Well, that's
Franklin
entirely
will-
different.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
The actual negotiations, presumably Franklin will handle those himself.
Okay.
But he's a very old man who is...
So we're just setting up. Okay.
Yeah. He's a very old man who is basically, like, in and out of a cast at this point. Like,
because of gout.
yeah. So he's sending you guys to make the arrangements.
Who has the highest diplomacy then?
I can be diplomatic, though. I don't know if I
3.
have a
I
4.
can't be diplomatic coming from the
I have a
person
4.
who last week said he attacked me when I shot at him.
The prelude to that was he was
Should I-
being
should I
aggressive.
put-
So
Should I try to put points in diplomacy before we go? I have 4 right now. I could have 5.
If you want to.
4's enough with style, I think.
Yeah.
Style can
Yeah,
just represent
no.
doing your hair first or something.
All right.
All right. So, the plan as Franklin has laid it out is you will first stop with and check in with your side. Because New York is pretty much the center of the revolution right now. So you'd
Oh,
stop
I thought it
checking
was
with
under
your
British
side.
occupation.
What?
I thought New York was under British occupation. Or is that what you mean?
It spends most of the war under British occupation, but the Patriots haven't been driven out of it yet.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
The really heavy fighting hasn't even started yet.
Okay. So for right now, it's under more or less Patriot control?
It's basically the Patriots hold the city, and it's surrounded by British ships.
Okay.
Um,
So are we meeting on a British ship then?
well, you would be going to the home of Jonathan Drake, who, while he's a loyalist, is a civilian,
Okay.
ostensibly. But yes. So right now, you've got General Howe has countless ships on the water surrounding New York. The Patriots technically hold it, but like
Sounds like it's only a matter of time.
in the movie, I remember, and I don't know if this is an actual line they stole, but in the movie, Washington in his letter described it as, it looks like the entire city of London has been set afloat outside New York.
Nice. So we're checking in with our side first?
Yes.
I think
Okay.
that would be
Because
decent.
if you're going to talk to the enemy and you haven't checked in with your side and showed them you have letters, that's how you
I
get
assume you're a traitor.
suspected of being a spy.
They don't
Fair
end
enough.
well.
Also, when I say the number of ships, it's like 30 to 40,000 men just on ships in New York Harbor. So,
Quite a few.
yes.
That's are those Marines or sailors or both?
Let's see. Which miles across the harbor? They're reinforced by a fleet of ships. It just says troops.
Oh, okay.
So most of New York's in Patriot hands, but the harbor is full of British ships, and the British also have Staten Island under control.
Okay.
Well, I believe if we're in Boston, I would. Are we in Boston or
You're
Massachusetts?
not.
New
You're in
York.
New York.
You're heading from Philadelphia to New York.
Where's Paul Revere's residence? Was that in Boston?
It's in Boston.
was.
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna see if we could pick up more silver bullets. I guess that's probably not gonna happen.
Well,
I've got 2 left. That
not
should be
directly
fine.
from Revere, but there may be other contacts you have in New York who might be able to get you some.
I'll be fine for now. I don't expect we're gonna come across any like werewolves or something in this leg. So having
Challenge
2,
accepted.
I will have my 2 silver musket balls stowed.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, as I was saying, you would check in with your side so you're not mistaken for spies, and then you'd be able to go into the city, find Drake, and hopefully get everything set up. So yes, you're traveling. Eventually, you see the city coming into view. There is a military encampment just outside of it, and like wherever there's like an open green in the city, there would be troops there as well.
So is there a guard post or check-in point or something like that that we have to pass through?
Yeah, as you would enter the military camp, there would be soldiers there ready to.
Who has the letters?
I think Franklin gave them to you.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm going to approach the checkpoint and wait for them to ask me to halt.
Okay.
I'd like to follow along with him. Are we mounted or?
I think just our whole carriage would be going.
Yeah, I mean, you guys would have been given a carriage or horses, whichever you prefer.
There's somebody in particular that we're supposed to give these to at the end of the day after we pass through all the lower.
Who are the letters addressed to?
Yeah.
I think they were addressed to George Washington, to the general.
There is a letter directly to the general, and that's Franklin's personal correspondence.
Okay.
But are there any letters for anybody, here at this particular New York?
There is. I mean, it's not addressed to any specific person, but it's got the seal of Congress, and it's kind of a to whom it may concern kind of thing.
Okay.
To get you through the camp.
Okay. I guess I'll give it to the chap who's waiting at the checkpoint.
I don't think the chap at the checkpoint is high enough clearance to talk about a negotiation about a specific reasoning.
I guess what I'm trying to understand is this guy is not going to just let me through. I have to be able to tell him that so-and-so said we could go through.
Right.
Here's a letter from so-and-so to
yes,
your so-and-so.
That's what the letter says. It's basically from Congress authorizing you guys to conduct, negotiate, to basically you guys are traveling to deliver a message to this person. You're on the orders of Congress. It doesn't give more details.
All right, I'll give it to the chap at the checkpoint, and I'm sure he'll want to have somebody higher up look at it. But that's fine. I say we're on congressional business here. Talk to, to negotiate with the other side. I give them the letter.
As a side note, I lean over to Graham. If the person who's in charge of our newly established mail system gives us a letter to deliver to someone, shouldn't he pay us?
I think I said you guys were each getting 1 month of your wealth restored.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Actually, George Washington would pay us because the person who received it paid you, not the person who sent it.
At this point in time.
That doesn't come until the 1848 or something like that.
At this point in time, yes.
I can't say.
It was a joke.
He looks it over, and he kind of hands it to the other guard, and he looks it over. And they kind of look you guys up and down because you don't look like congressional emissaries.
Especially not John.
I keep them safe.
Can I roll like a diplomacy to make this work faster?
As you get, it would be bureaucracy.
Oh, okay.
But eventually someone comes over. He's wearing the same uniform, but he has a green armband. What's going on here? And he takes the letter, looks at it. All right, then. If you'll all come with me.
All right.
Do I recognize this person?
No.
Okay.
All right. So I'm following.
So he's leading you, and congressional emissaries. Hopefully you're not delivering more bad news.
Actually, we bear no news at all.
I would say we bear good news.
Actually, we do, the Declaration of Independence.
Yes.
Well, sir, we actually do bear good news. Congress recently signed, however many days ago, signed a declaration that these 13 colonies are now independent.
Free and
actually, one of us would probably have a copy of this, wouldn't we? We have purchased a copy from the printer somewhere.
If we were able to purchase one, I would have totally purchased one.
Yeah, I would totally have bought
two or three at least.
You
guys have copies, and
okay.
Yes.
I pass them a copy and say, "Welcome to the United States, sir." Actually, were we called that back then?
No.
The United States. What would we have called ourselves?
The independent colonies at this point, probably.
Well, no, they were not colonies. They were free and independent states.
Independent states.
But did we call ourselves United States at that point? The United States.
Point,
if national treasure is to be believed, then no.
Yeah. It wasn't the United States. It was these United States, plural.
Welcome to these United States, sir.
And that term would last up until the Civil War. It wasn't until after the Civil War that people began to use the term the United States as a singular entity.
Okay. In any case, welcome to these United States, sir. I give him a copy of the Declaration.
Fascinating. I'm certain the General will find this interesting, though not as interesting as if you told us we had rations, gunpowder, ammunition, horses, and of course pay for the troops. But
well, I regret to say that we have none of those.
Do we have any of those, actually, Adam?
Not enough for a whole army.
Not enough for an army.
Just enough for a tease, I think. Well, sir, I'm sure those will be coming presently.
You'll forgive me if I don't share your optimism.
Well,
I silently agree with him.
I can bring you no good news or bad news on that.
He leads you to a tent and motions for you to enter.
I enter.
Inside there's a table set up with a map of the city. There's a a writing desk over to one side. There's some chairs. There's a cot. He says something to one of the soldiers, and that soldier goes running off. Please have a seat, make yourselves comfortable. I will. You'll forgive me if I don't offer you a drink. We are woefully undersupplied here.
Oh, no, of course not. We wouldn't want to take anything from the troops.
Adam, can I complain about the rickety camp chairs?
You may.
Sorry, it's a Wheel of Time
please be seated.
reference. Sorry.
Please be seated.
Oh yeah. Huh.
Yeah. That's like I said, I hated about that. Sorry.
No, it's So he sits down once you guys do. You'll forgive me for not introducing myself. My name is Grayson, William Grayson.
Pleased to meet you, sir. I'm Josiah Channing, and these are my friends. And then I introduce them all around.
Pleasure to meet you.
Do we know if he is part of the group yet, or the order?
Nope. He's not someone you've heard of.
Okay. We have a letter addressed to General George Washington from Benjamin Franklin.
Well, I suppose I can take a look at that. I am his aide-de-camp.
Oh.
I do believe it was it was more of a personal nature for the general.
I didn't read it, so I don't know.
No, this is personal and confidential correspondence, which
he has an amused look on his face, but he...
No, neither myself nor my companions are into reading other people's mails.
He has an amused look on his face, and he doesn't argue. He lets you feel important.
That was so condescending.
Condescending, like
such condescension.
Eventually, a soldier does come up and talks to Grayson. Unfortunately, the general is unable to meet with you at this time. If you wish, you can wait, but I don't know how long it would be. Otherwise, I will put the letter with his personal correspondence.
Can I empathy him to see if that means he's just going to open it when we leave?
Go ahead.
Well, I'm wondering, sir, whether this is a matter that you would be able to attend to.
While they're talking,
So that we don't need to bother the general.
Well, that is part of my responsibility. If it is truly personal correspondence with no official...
Wait. We've got two letters here, I thought. We have the personal letter, and then we have the letter that is asking for permission. Am I correct in that?
Yes.
Yeah, the pass.
So the letter asking for permission you could probably give to him.
Okay, that's the one I want to give to him.
Okay.
The other one...
He takes it, he looks at it, reads it, hands it back to you. This appears to be in order. I will personally see that you get through the checkpoints into the city.
Thank you, sir.
If you have any correspondence that is, as you said, personal in nature, there is, if you don't wish to leave it with me, there is someone who could receive it.
Who would that be, sir?
The general's wife.
think that would be in order.
That would be acceptable.
Very well, but I'm going to have to say 2 of you can come with me to deliver it. I don't want to disturb her by bringing such a large group into her home.
Indeed, John should stay here.
I will stay as well. I was actually hoping to inquire if there's any services we can do. It sounds like your supplies are extremely thin.
Yes, well, unless you come bearing those necessary supplies, I'm not certain what you're offering.
I just wish to help in any way that we can. If that's not now, perhaps once our mission is done, we can attempt to regain more materials for you.
Or are there perhaps any enemy encampments somewhere nearby that we could relieve in the dark of night?
Yeah, that plan worked.
Any kitchens you could raid?
Worked fairly well last time.
I don't think we're going to authorize a raid onto Staten Island at this point.
Which is true today too, by the way, but I digress.
So who's going with me to see Mrs. Washington?
It's probably going to be me.
Fair enough.
It's the
I'll join
lady's
you as well.
touch.
Does Thomas wish to go see? I believe her name is Martha.
Yes.
I will join.
Well, that's 3 that we're only allowed to take 2.
He'll allow 3. It was mainly John that he was worried about.
I feel singled out here.
Really?
Well,
Does he get a style point for being scruffy?
Spit tobacco on the
Yeah,
That's
that's probably
amazing.
would be spit of tobacco on his boot, one of those.
This is not a place to spit tobacco.
so he leads the 3 of you through this. The 3 of you who are going through the camp to what was probably a farmhouse at one point, but the fields are now occupied by the camp. He knocks at the door and then opens the knock more for courtesy than permission, and then opens it and gestures you inside.
Go inside.
I would also go inside.
Ditto.
He leads you to a room. There's a woman sitting in a chair. She's working on some kind of sewing project.
Can I examine the sewing project to see what she's doing? Just
Sure.
perception, or
Go ahead. I'm not even going to make you roll for it. She appears to be attaching a button to a military uniform.
oh, I thought it might have been more exciting than that.
No.
Not yet.
So is he gonna introduce us? 'Cause we would need to wait for
Miss
him.
Washington.
To introduce
Mrs.
us.
Washington. These are emissaries from the Congress. They claim to have correspondence for the general of a personal nature, and they suggested they would rather leave it with you than with me. If I have your leave, I will allow them to explain further.
Mrs. Washington, it's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Dr. Josiah Channing, and these are my friends. Introduce them.
Meredith Gladville. Yeah. Hi.
Thomas Bain. We have the honor to bring you a correspondence for for General Washington, and if we could leave that with you, we would be very grateful.
A letter from whom did you say?
Mr. Franklin, Mr. Benjamin Franklin.
Yes.
I assume that's on the envelope, right?
Yes, you may.
Okay.
Well, it's folded and sealed.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I believe that would be in order.
Thank you, ma'am.
Out of
And
curiosity, I don't think I would be able to detect this with anything, but do I know anything about her having magic or no?
not really.
Okay. I was just curious. The way she said, "Whom did you say?" Made me piqued my interest. Could I roll empathy for that?
I mean, you can.
I don't think I tell anything. Never mind. It was all in my head.
All right. So yeah, she takes the letter, and she kind of goes to a little wooden box and puts the letter inside. And I will inform my husband when he gets back that this letter is here for him.
Thank you, madam. By your leave, we'll depart.
She nods.
All right, so that's done.
While that was happening, can Graham have been trying to perform some sort of not reconnaissance, but like try to see where our meeting is supposed to be, like what kind of British are going to be on the grounds during the truce, like what to expect, basically?
Well, again, you're not really going behind enemy lines. Drake lives in the city, and while he is a known loyalist, he's not.
I imagine there would be British resources available to him, though, or no? Is it just our flag of our truce, or like our letters are gonna let us go into there on a? Is that basically?
Yeah, I mean, the letter you have will get you past your side, and you also have a letter explaining to Drake why you're there.
Okay. Could I maybe try to find, instead of that, can I try to pick up a second pistol if I have enough to purchase?
If you have enough, yes.
I was going to say, I always have an extra rifle, or musket, I guess, that I don't use except to poke people with.
You mean you always have an
Have
extra?
bullets in it half the time.
You mean you always have an extra over-engineered wooden club?
Or spear.
It's a
Or
spear.
spear.
It's a spear that shoots.
But it can be clubbed too, yeah.
When it has bullets in it, which is probably not often.
Or hardly ever, yeah. It's like,
I'm having trouble finding the actual like price for them. I have the stats under weapons. Is it under
Character handout, player handouts, weapons.
cost, yeah.
Yeah,
Musket is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I'm sure I put that there.
No, you did.
Okay.
I have barely enough. I have 11 pounds and 66 shillings, and it's 11.5.
20 shillings is a pound, so.
So you have like 14 pounds and 6 shillings.
It's 11.5 for a small concealed pistol. If you want just the regular one that does the 3L damage, that's 17.10.
I was hoping to go for more the concealed one, actually, like
Okay.
a behind the belt in the back type of a thing.
Yeah, then you can purchase a concealed pistol.
Okay, so I will deduct that. Sorry, I was just blind a little bit there.
Okay.
So that's what Graham was doing. We were all off.
All right. In time, Grayson brings them back. And leads the party through the camp. And again, you guys are allowed to pass into the city. In the city, there's a military presence, but it's a city. There's people going about their business. Like, yeah. Yes, there's
The
a war
military
going
units that we're
on.
seeing, are they loyalists or patriots? They're patriots, right?
Both.
Okay.
like this, the city is home to both, and
Okay.
It is now an American melting pot.
But nobody's shooting at each other yet. Okay.
at this point, I'm gonna say I will allow you to either do a survival navigation or streetwise check to make your way through the city to the correct house.
Okay, let me do a.
I have a 4 in survival and a 4 in
I have a 6 in
streetwise.
survival.
And you can take a +2 bonus if you have both.
Yeah, the 6 survival.
Should we all just roll it, or does one person?
Just one. I'm assuming it's you because you have both.
I have both, so that gives me a 6, but that's the same as.
And my base is 6, but would I get Virginia's bonus if I did it or not?
Not in the city, no.
Not in a city.
Yeah, that's what I didn't think so. That's why
Could
I
I
asked.
add a bonus to Mary's? Since
Sure.
I have,
So you can roll it with a +4.
Well, could I
Okay.
assist as well, or no? That's my.
I don't think I would want your assistance, even if you offered it.
You don't
I've-
need that much assistance to find a house when you have the address. You find it no problem. As you
what
approach,
did we roll for?
On the stairs leading up to it, there's a familiar face, a very familiar face, considering how many people you've seen it on. Sitting on the steps, he's chewing on a piece of straw. He's got a pistol that he appears to be cleaning. His red hair is tied back in a loose ponytail, but is kind of well, he's always looked a little more rugged and disheveled than the other two.
Good day, sir.
Well, I'm assuming you lot are here to see my father.
That would be a correct assumption, sir.
And if I'm not much mistaken, he probably knows the nature of our visit from your white-haired brother.
Oh. So, all that stuff Albito's talking about. It's not the only one. Been damn near insufferable lately, but
Where is he, if I may ask?
oh, they're both inside. He doesn't even get up. He's still cleaning his gun.
Might we have the honor of seeing your father?
He gestures toward the door.
All right. I guess we knock on the door.
A servant comes and opens it for you and escorts you in. And then he goes to inform the professor.
Because of the nature of this, are we all supposed to be like unarmed and truce and everything?
I mean, it's a truce, but you guys can be armed.
Okay. Even then, I still don't think Graham's hauling around a musket. I think he probably has his pistol.
Yeah,
And then his
you're allowed to be armed, but if you're walking in completely with all of your weapons armed to the teeth.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was kind of thinking he's not doing. So he's got he's got 2 pistols. He's got his main one, which he wouldn't.
Sure.
That's something he considers okay to bring, but he has the second one in the back now, and I think he probably wouldn't have his saber. I think he'd just have a hatchet at his belt.
Adam, I've
Just
been
so.
meaning to ask since we were at the other porch. At some point between leaving the camp and getting into New York City, I would have wanted to do foresight.
Okay.
Is it fine if I do that now?
Yes.
Okay. Magic.
Oh, nice.
You have a vision, the city on fire, and now that you're here, you definitely know this is New York. The city is on fire. And as you look, you're staring down the street. There is a figure kind of. Well, you can only see a silhouette because the flames behind him are so bright. But he's standing with his arms outstretched. There's around his neck, there's a glow. You kind of zoom in, and it seems like he's wearing what appears to be a full piece of the Philosopher's Stone around his neck. And just the way the air shimmers, it almost seems as if the flames are coming from this person. You see a vision of
Separate vision
of Roanoke. You see him, a man on his knees, seemingly in anguish, hands on his head.
Does the man have white hair?
It's hard to tell. But he seems to be completely in anguish, like possibly sobbing, possibly cowering from something. You see one last vision. You see a vision of one you've seen before, but much more clear this time. You are in a boat. Your friends are there with you. There are other boats. You can barely make them out because they're not carrying any lights. You're going across a river, and an ominous shadow is in the distance. The shadow almost takes a form, like a monstrous form. And yet, you guys seem to be sailing right toward it.
And the silhouette, I assume I also didn't get a hair color?
You didn't get anything like...
Okay.
You didn't... It's hard to even tell, like, you know, the size, the sex. It's literally just a human outline that looks completely black because of all the fire behind it. That's all you can see is essentially the shadow. So anyone who wishes to go up to Drake's office is free to do so.
I'll go.
I will follow.
Okay.
You did have a conversation with him before.
You did. A long time ago.
Yeah.
Oh, this was the ball that I missed?
At a dinner party.
Yes. You guys talked about
Visiting a college.
touring the campus at Harvard while he was in Boston. All right. So it sounds like who's going up to the office?
I'm going.
Okay.
Graham will follow.
All right.
I think it would be good to visit as well.
Okay. You go up to Drake's office. He's sitting behind his desk. He's, again, a very old man, long white beard. It is like July. It's warm, but he's still wearing like almost like academic regalia, like that style of robe.
Mm.
He's writing something.
Does it look modern day? Or because the first thing Graham's going to look at, because he's never seen him before, people have been talking about him being 200 some years old, and that's the first thing I'm looking to see. Does he fit that like icon at all, or does he seem
He
just
looks
like an old
very
man?
old. Obviously, he doesn't look 200 because you've never seen a 200-year-old man. But
On the way up to the office, did I see heads or tails of Albedo?
when you are shown into the office, I was about to say, standing kind of to either side and behind him are Negredo and Albedo.
Is Albedo's face burned?
It is not.
Okay.
Also, unlike your vision, Negredo's neck is not slashed open.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Yeah, I have no idea what happened, but I'm rather concerned for these poor people.
Yeah, Graham's not going to say anything. He's going to stand just a little to the left of Josiah, and because
He's concerned for these people's well-being when she's not actively trying to kill either of them.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm not a complete monster. Only when I'm trying to actively kill them.
Nothing personal. Good day, sir.
Dr. Channing, I believe we meet again.
You are correct.
Had I only known back in Boston, I imagine things would have played out quite differently.
I imagine so, sir. Fortunately, they did not, at least from my perspective.
Well, my ward has told me a great deal of his encounters with you in the South.
Indeed. I assume he has told you more than just his dealings with us.
Indeed.
I believe we are here on that particular topic.
I certainly have no interest in seeing some hellspawn rise in these colonies. That would be just as bad as letting your independence movement succeed.
I do agree that Hellspawn appearing here would not be good for either of us. Either.
Yes.
he's
Come desiring to establish negotiations between yourself and Mr. Benjamin Franklin.
More specifically, your side and ours.
Ah, yes, the well, he's not the Grand Master, but the leader of what was once the Order of St. George, yes.
Yes.
You do know that we, the true Order of St. George, have disavowed all of you rebels.
I was never a part of you in the first place.
Understandable.
Are you? I'm sorry, Sir Drake. My name is Graham White. I'm a member of the disavowed Order of St. George, as you so call it. Does that imply that you are aware of the order or its inception?
Why, yes. You could say that.
What's your, if you pardon my asking, what is your history with the order?
I suppose there's no need to be coy. I was one of its founding members. Myself.
Do we know how long ago it was founded? Sorry.
I was going to ask the same thing. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. I mean, you know it's been around for hundreds of years.
Okay, that's all I needed to know.
And
I would actually, I'd like to look at...
considering John Dee was supposed to have died in 1608. Yeah, he very well could have been a founding member.
He's like 160 plus. He could be, well over 200.
I mean, he was 80 years old when he died.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Maybe
240 years old.
Does this man look like an 80-year-old man?
he very well could, yes.
So, okay.
Again, you haven't seen many of those either.
Yeah.
Not at this time.
Well, sir, may we go back to Benjamin Franklin and let him know that you are interested in meeting with him?
And well, as a side note, we interrupted him, and we wouldn't have interrupted him in character.
Sure.
He said he was one of the founding members.
Yes, myself, Sir Francis. The early days of the Empire, a term that I have been given credit for, I'm to understand. As we began spreading Britain's influence throughout the world, we discovered there were other influences, darker things that needed to be dealt with. Naming it after St. George the Dragon Slayer was the Queen's idea, though I do wish I could take credit. But yes.
What is the reasoning for here in the colonies, or as we now stand in our united colonies? Where did we break off? It can't be just because of the most recent with this war. Or is it?
Indeed,
I do hope your definition of monsters hasn't changed to be more human in nature.
No, I still know the difference between man and monsters. Even back then, we knew the difference between the Spanish, the French, mortal enemies of Britain, and those of a more immortal nature.
Well,
But you may tell your Dr. Franklin that I will meet with him. In fact, my understanding is that there are those on my side wishing to make one last attempt to broker a peace between our sides.
I see. Where would you like to meet?
has news of the Declaration of Independence reached them?
Probably not yet.
Okay.
He writes something down and hands it to you.
What does it say? My head
You
explodes.
don't know. It is folded and addressed to Ben Franklin.
Okay, well then I won't look at it then. And this contains the location which you would like to meet him at then?
It does. I would arrange for Admiral Howe to be there.
I see.
Admiral Howe, myself, while Franklin and I discuss the cessation of magical hostilities, perhaps other representatives from your Congress can meet with Admiral Howe and perhaps bring an end to all of this before it goes too far.
We will certainly tell Dr. Franklin that that is an opportunity that's available.
Good. I will look forward to. I look forward to meeting with the man. I've heard much about him. I would be
Sure, the
lying
feeling
if
is
I said
mutual.
I had no curiosity.
I'm sure the feeling is mutual.
At this point, I will allow two of you to make perception checks.
I make perception checks pretty well.
I do too.
If it's regarding albedo, I would like to do.
All right,
If
I'll let
not-
all three of you do it. What the hell?
Okay. I'm specifically was gonna
I suck.
look at albedo.
All right, Mary, as Drake dismisses you.
Oh, before he dismisses me, I would have liked to mention something.
Yes?
Sometimes I see things, and I think it would concern you. And I look to Albedo. Croatoan seeks a new hound. And I believe he is going after somebody who was bestowed with the lady's favor.
Indeed.
It would do well to take care. And that's the comment I would make.
Albedo gives you a look, like, and I will say you all notice this. He gives you a kind of an angry look, and then just kind of shakes his head a little bit. But Mary, you also notice there is a small, like a small glass container about the size of a snow globe on Drake's desk. And inside it there's a shard of Philosopher's Stone. It appears to be in there, it's kind of floating. It's presumably in water or something and not just hovering.
As an offhand comment upon leaving, I would say, I think burning down New York would also qualify under acts of war, genocide, to summon evil.
One would think. As you guys are heading back down the stairs, Albedo comes out and he confronts you. What was that all about? Suggesting to my father that I may be disloyal? You know Negredo's trying to talk him out of this whole peace process. You just undermined everything that I've been trying to do.
Yes, that was what it was. It was... Hold on. I was trying to find it in my notes. It was... He claims that his assistant didn't need to find a new champion, that the lady has chosen one for him. She bestowed her favor on one that is unworthy. His devotion to her will drive away all others. While she rejects him, he will be mine for the taking.
I don't think my lady would bestow her favor on one that is unworthy. I trust her judgment more than yours.
I do agree with this. I'm just saying what I heard. And I think you should keep well.
Maybe you shouldn't believe the words of a demon.
I do agree with this also, but I do think there is something to be learned from it.
Albedo, if I may.
He looks at you.
You're fighting on the wrong side. You should come with us.
No, my father is on the wrong side of this, and he will not be on the wrong side of... He will see reason. He will not risk Croatoan being summoned. I will be sure of that.
I do not wish to see you on the battlefield. You seem like a good lad. Graham will start to turn to leave.
Albedo will turn and go back upstairs.
As we get to the bottom of the stairs, what's the brother's name that he just talked about?
Albedo has white hair, who we met before. Rubido was at the door. Red hair.
No, the one at the bottom of the stairs.
Oh,
Or-
Rubido.
Well, that was Rubido?
Yes.
Is that where Thomas and Silverlock have been? Or
I mean,
Yes.
yeah, they're probably in the sitting room just downstairs.
Oh, I was actually going to stay with the horses because I don't trust Rubico because in the past he and I have had, let's just say, not.
he was running away from you the whole time.
Actually, you and Rubido is the only one you haven't had a. You fought Negredo, and he used.
Negredo.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And then you try to feed Albedo to the zombies.
That's what I
Rubido
was
is the only one
wondering.
that
Could
you
put a damper on
haven't
the relationship.
had a.
All those Easterners have the same face.
Yeah. Yeah, Rubido is the only one that Silverlock hasn't had like an attempt to kill or be killed by.
That's because he was a cat.
Yeah, because I was thinking of, having spirit sense on me to make certain that I didn't detect being, anybody trying to hex me or the horses or whatnot. That's why I was thinking I would
Alright,
probably.
if you're there with the horses, eventually Rubido finishes cleaning his gun. And then pulls out a second gun and begins cleaning that one.
And like I said, I'd probably want to the cast spirit sense or,
Go ahead.
yeah. Well, it's what it does is I can percept magical things with.
Go ahead.
Okay, well. And would that get her bonus or not for the magic?
I would say yes. This is. Even here, you can get her bonus for that. Your eyes, you close your eyes as you kind of mutter in native language. When you open your eyes, they would appear wolf-like. You're now able to see things that are magical kind of give off an aura. You begin looking about. Rubido is lighting up like a Christmas tree right now.
Yeah, I thought it would. Like his whole person is magical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would. Yeah, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, like his whole person seems to glow. He doesn't seem to be doing anything that you would think is magical, but it's like he himself is magical in nature.
Or it has spells cast on him already, or. Okay, yeah. It sort of unnerves me a little bit because it's like going, okay, it's like, is he even a real person? Or because it's like I know with Legion, I didn't have that.
Well, because Legion.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
Was. I mean, there was a little magic involved in creating him, but his actual nature is.
Well, his existence is not dependent on magic.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it makes me wonder. It's like, okay, is this even a real person, or is it? Yeah. Or if he was made from the Philosopher's Stone, but in a different way, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like I said, it's mainly to make certain that, yeah, like I said, he doesn't hex the horses or something that.
Sure. Anything else you guys want to do before you depart?
Was the perception roll just to see the stone was on the desk?
Mm-hmm. I figured
Okay.
that's something you might want to notice.
Yeah, that's something I would want to notice. I thought it was something as we left that it was involving Rubido.
Nope.
Okay. I got momentarily confused when all of a sudden Albedo was the one talking to me.
Yeah, I just would like to get back to our exit So I will rejoin Silverlock outside as soon as down the stairs.
And as you exit, Rubido finishes cleaning his second gun. And then he stands up and he holsters that one. Well, I hope you found everything you're hoping to.
Not
You did,
everything.
sir.
I was curious about something, but I don't think I'll find answers today.
You might as well keep looking. And he kind of dismissive gesture and walks inside. Like, dismissive wave.
I start heading towards John.
Okay.
Mr. Silverlock, anything out here? Any trouble? Oh, I think there's something called a mute button that's activated, Mr. John.
Sorry. No, I mentioned it's like, yeah, there's something strange about that kid.
There's a whole family of strange here, John.
Yeah, but trust me, it's like I've never.
There's something strange in that there's two other people walking around with his face.
Yeah.
Like, that's not news.
But it's like, I'm glanced at Meredith and it's like going, yeah, he has the strangest aura that I've ever seen, and
I wouldn't
That-
be surprised if they are produced from the Philosopher's Stone in one way or another. Probably the way that it was supposed to be used.
Their midi-chlorian count must be off the charts. Sorry.
It's a movie that must not be named.
Wrong campaign, Adrian.
Sorry.
I vote style points, but
wrong genre.
genre. You probably would be interested to know something, but I'm not sure it'll do you any good even if you do find out. Add a tally of +1 to the Philosopher's Stone shard pieces.
Well, we knew he probably had some.
It's very little, though.
It seems to me that's probably just a trophy on his desk. If he probably has more.
I actually am throwing out some style points, by the way, to Meredith for figuring out the possibility of Albedo being the one being targeted. To John for thinking to use Spirit Sense on Rubido.
And one thing, it's like, and I don't know if they show me the letter or if it is magical, if I would have sensed that on Meredith, that John Drake just gave her.
I don't know what you mean.
No, you just got a letter to give to Franklin about the.
Oh,
mini
yeah.
plants.
Well, I think Josiah was the one handling letters, but did he give it to me or Josiah?
He would have given it to Josiah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. But it was, yeah. Yeah, that's what I was also wondering if when they met up with me, if something popped out that, like, wait, that's new, because I've seen the others with my Spirit Sense active.
I want to kind of assist with just getting us back on the road. Now that our business here is done, I feel very much like, let's get out of here.
I agree.
Does the Continental Army, I think at this point is what they're called?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what they're called? Do they have a messenger for Congress that we could use to send this letter?
They do.
Okay.
And now that the Headless Horseman's gone, their messengers are dying far less.
far less isn't very, well, it doesn't, invoke a lot of confidence.
Well, like, that's primarily what the horseman was doing. He was hunting, for a while, he was hunting messengers, and...
Do
Actually,
we
that's
have
how the campaign
statistics
started.
or reasons for Messenger's death?
Actually, that's how this campaign started. You found a messenger that he decapitated.
Yep.
That's true.
Well, if you interrupt the enemy's communications, it's
Well, I guess what I don't understand is why are we not going back right now to Ben Franklin's and carry it ourselves?
I suppose we could.
I was almost
I
going
mean, what else are we doing? I guess is my question. What else would we do besides that?
You could make
Bring
a start of it in Old New York. Because if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere.
dun, 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 dun.
I was gonna suggest we have a potential bird in the party who could carry it if we needed to be very, very fast. But I think you're right. We can just take it ourselves and go straight to Benjamin Franklin.
I don't think the bird would go near. I think the bird would have delivery issues.
Oh, because it's Ben Franklin.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's be off, and we'll just get back as soon as we can.
I don't have a problem delivering things. It's just,
Being hospitable and yeah.
I don't have a problem delivering things. I have a problem telling him not to F off when I do it.
Is it safe to say we're like on the road now?
Yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Silverlock, I half wish you were up there with us. That man, Mr. Drake. Have you seen him before, or officially, or no? In the flesh, I mean.
what, sorta.
Drake was in the flesh. Silverlock was a cat.
Yeah.
I don't know that, but that
Well,
man,
yeah. Well, like I said, probably would have been sort of like, well, yeah, I've sort of met him. I don't think he would remember me though.
My history is not my strong point, but he was speaking of back years, like over 100 years ago. I doubted before that he could possibly be that old, but I'm beginning to question. I think I've seen so much of the supernatural this last 2 years.
You spoke of the Queen. Who else would that be besides Queen Elizabeth?
Exactly, and he spoke with
Almost said
such
first.
with such a natural. I mean, I do not believe he was lying. It's very unsettling to me.
It's probably best you keep that to yourself. People have a tendency to burn what they don't understand.
I'm not sure. Well, I would not wish burning on anybody, but I do not like Mr. Drake.
Somehow I just think that Mr. Drake's end will not be in a fire. He seems too slippery for that.
Indeed. It makes me very uncomfortable, I will say.
But he does look good for 250.
I would say he's only 80 plus a few hundred years.
Plus or minus.
Well, and then there's the matter of his sons. Seeing them in the same room.
I feel like at this point we're just gossiping on the way back to Philadelphia.
That's exactly what Graham's doing.
Yeah.
Like,
could we have before? Well, I guess we pretty much blew our cover before we got here, but I was wondering if there was any possibility of getting silver bullets for the one who uses a gun.
If you can think of...
I just want to go back.
No, okay, yeah.
Okay, I was going to say if you spend a style point, I'll remind you where you might get them.
I know, and yeah, I know we have a tailor who is a...
I mean,
Yeah. Like
But I don't...
If you had any hope of getting them, it would most likely be through Mulligan.
Yeah. I did not forget that. There's a reason I take notes. I just wasn't sure if we wanted to
no,
go
let's
there
just
or
get
not.
out of here.
Okay.
We've got
Your notes
letters.
are probably better than mine. Like, a lot of it I just rely on. I mean, I have notes, but it's mostly notes of what's going to happen. As far as what did happen,
I have some of those notes too.
like, as far as what did happen is just kind of my annotations in, like, okay, this happened and here's how.
My notes have degraded to about 3-hour-long videos on YouTube.
I have given up updating my notes. At this point, I have 2 like flip papers of just notes that I flip through. I really should, you know.
My notes are recaps in the Facebook group.
I try to quote word for word whenever I have something important, and
Sure.
a demon that is trying to, you know, enter Earth to destroy it for his own pleasure.
Demon's gonna demon.
Yeah, I typically take pretty good notes
Okay.
about that.
I don't.
Yeah.
So,
You have
yeah.
a hard time hearing him. I understand.
If there's anything else you guys want to do on the road back, you can do it.
Graham will just comment on the identicalness of the brothers and how disconcerting it is.
I would say they were
Yeah,
am-
this was the first time
different colors.
you'd seen them in the same room, so.
I'm willing to bet that they probably all have different magical aptitudes. Maybe not. I could probably be totally making this up. But I seem to think, I don't know if it has any truth to it, that the redhead one probably has an aptitude for fire. The white-haired one seemed to be pretty decent at healing magic. And the brown-haired one, well, he knocked John unconscious.
With his mind.
You have me there completely. I just saw one of them had quite a few
I've been
firearms.
thinking this for a while, but you guys were pretty skeptical about this kind of thing. Now that we're gossiping.
I seem to have unlocked Mary's conversation abilities on these trips.
Do I have a spell that causes people to forget conversations from the past hour?
That would be handy.
That would be handy.
That'd be very handy.
You just keep hinting that you want that time rewind spell.
Could it maybe be like, instead of actually rewinding time, I like rewind somebody's mental time to where they just lose an hour of time? That would be a good way of editing it to be possible to give to a player without, you know.
I'll take that under advisement.
Apart from just conversation, Graham is content to just head back straight.
Okay.
That was a good point too. I did want to mention at some point that their specialities of magic was in my head, and I don't know if I've said anything about that, but the way Adam smiled when I did say that.
Can Graham
Adam
tell
smiled.
if the kids resembled in like facial structure and stuff like that resembled Jonathan Drake? Or John D?
Maybe a younger version of him?
Yeah, like do they look like they
Very
could
hard
be?
to tell. Like, especially because it's so unsettling because they have like the exact same face as each other.
But the facial shape, it wasn't like very obviously not like two different.
Triplets aren't unheard of.
But with different colored hair like that?
Yeah, identical ones.
I mean, they could be coloring it, but now we're into gossip again. So.
It could be magical issues that are causing it to be colored.
This is true.
Or
Maybe-
it's more than just the philosopher's stone that was put into them when they were made. Like, can I roll for like academics occult if there's anything that like
Sure.
imbues fire ability or healing ability or
Go ahead.
causing people to pass out ability? Whatever that would be.
You've heard of, there are different types of magic. There's your tradition, there's the tradition John uses. You've heard rumors of something more innate, something that is less magic being cast and more an innate ability. At least Gothic horror, this would be mentalism abilities. And perhaps some from the Hex book as well. But yes, you've heard of this. It's exceedingly rare.
Say that Jonathan Drake didn't just make 3, but he made more until he got the 3 he wanted. When you're hundreds of years old, you have time for this sort of thing if you have no morals. Or, I don't know at what point they would be considered human. Are they human?
I don't know.
What do you mean? What do you mean by human? What is human?
Well, in Christianity, they're beings with a soul given
Not
to
all
them.
Christians believe in souls.
Do they? I don't know.
Christians
What is
don't
general
believe we
belief
have
of religious belief of
I think Christians believe in souls. Like,
Yes.
Yeah, they
Most
do.
do.
They
but
don't
not
believe
all.
animals have souls, but
Yeah.
that what makes us different from the.
That's what makes him a
these-
heathen. Sorry. But yeah, I'm just theorizing because I'm very curious about whatever in the world those 3 people could be. Also,
Well, may I suggest that the answer may be located more in alchemy than in any other tradition?
did
which-
John tell us about Rubido glowing up like a fire pit?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. His aura.
I don't think he would glow and light up like a fire pit if it was just alchemy. If it was just alchemy, he would turn out more like Legion.
I must admit, I prefer Albedo to Legion.
You mean Rubido? I don't like Rubido.
The brothers, like, nobody should stitch body parts together. I don't know. As
I would say I don't know what methods were used to make them. And therefore, I cannot agree with this or disagree with this. However, Legion is definitely an unnatural thing that shouldn't have been made.
well,
I'm not trying to pick on Josiah.
It seemed like a good idea at the time.
well, in your defense, the headless horseman is no more, and that's thanks to what was done. So, it's an unfortunate circumstance, but hopefully it's behind us.
I am not eager to see it repeated. Having seen the results of it with him returning to his sister, that's very sad, to say the least.
I think this is a good lesson that John would like to put in. I could just hear some nagging from John's part of like making unnatural horrors is not just sad for like the people but for like nature itself. It's unnatural. I'm hearing it.
And I'm sure like going, I'm biting my tongue because it's like, they don't want to hear it from me again. It's like, yeah.
You're biting your tongue and Mary is still hearing it.
You're feeling just really chomping on that tobacco. It's like, if looks could tell.
I think
I didn't want to say I told you so, but
I did tell you so.
I think this has probably been the most interesting like travel scene I have seen in a role playing game. Just so.
This has been fun. I'm enjoying this. So yeah, eventually you guys make it back to Philadelphia without incident.
Okay, and we'll probably go straight to Franklin.
Yeah.
I think John would probably want to go check on Legion.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would also want to see Franklin.
Welcome back, and so soon. It seems like barely any time at all has passed.
Not a
So,
single
how did
shot
things
was
go?
fired.
How did things go? Well, that's a positive.
The Continental Army would like some reinforcements of gunpowder, gun ammunition, guns, food, basic necessities, and paychecks for the soldiers.
So we've been told, once or twice a week
Okay.
for the past couple of months. And if we had gunpowder, paychecks, and all of that, we would certainly send it, but just like they need Congress to send things, we need the states to send them.
That
John
would be a problem.
Adams is practically about to have his wife start digging up saltpeter for gunpowder.
I suppose becoming a nation is proving to be a monumentous and challenging endeavor.
Indeed,
Certainly
it
seem
would
to be
take
growing
funds.
As well, once word of the declaration gets around, we're hoping that it will lead to renewed enthusiasm for the cause.
Well, upon the mission you sent us on, I think, well, there's a lot to say.
Well, let's begin with the letter. You gave us a letter.
Franklin takes it, opens it. Let's see. September, Staten Island, General Howe. Interesting.
Yes, there's mention of a attempt at a peace settlement.
Yes, I suppose I'll have to find a couple of the boys from Congress willing to make the trip.
Isn't Statland Island the British occupied island?
It is, and by all accounts, we will be meeting at the home of a loyalist. I'm not worried. For all of Howe's faults, and I'm sure he has many, I don't think he would betray a peace negotiation.
I hope it goes well.
I hope it doesn't. I imagine any peace that Howe would agree to would almost certainly involve us remaining as part of the Empire.
I'm talking on behalf of the magical.
Yes, that should go well. As far as the other, I can make sure it fails. I'll have Adams do it.
I'm not so much worried about that. I just don't want a demon unleashed upon us free states at this point.
Yes, that is definitely something we do not want.
So I will have you there for this. We are allowed. It sounds like our side is allowed to bring a small detail for security.
Oh, and you wish us to come with you?
When the time comes, I will have you there as my bodyguards. For the time being, I'm afraid there's not much for you to do here in Philadelphia. I almost wish you had just sent this by a messenger or a bird or something.
I was a little nervous about our bird not
Oh.
finishing the delivery.
As well. What I'm saying is I'm sorry, but I think we may have more need of you in New York.
Well, then we'll head back to New York then. Do you have any one in particular that we should contact there?
I'm certain someone in the general's camp can find a use of you.
Oh,
But
Okay.
I will prepare a letter introducing you as a particularly capable unit of irregulars.
Irregulars.
There was a mission given back before we attended the party to find out the nature of Jonathan Drake. I don't know if you have confirmed this, but he did claim to be part of the original Order of St. George, one of the founders, which I believe you are more knowledgeable than their history than I am.
Well, if he is in fact John Dee, that would be accurate. But I suppose this is good confirmation as any that the rumors are true.
What do you know of his 3 sons? Was it some sort of magic at play? Surely if he's 200 some years old, the sons should be similar in age.
When John looked for any magical phenomena happening when he was attending to the horses, Rubidoux lit up like a Christmas, well, like a candle.
Yes, like a Yule log at Christmas time. I
Indeed.
get the image. But anyway,
One that had burned and was on fire.
in fact, I do have some suspicions. As you know, in my research that led to the creation of the Legion, I discovered a means of using the Philosopher's Stone to create life. My experiment was an approximation of that, but the original methods were almost entirely magically based and required decidedly less corpses.
Is there a way to be able to create an innate magical ability in said beings that are created?
Well, I assume if you're creating beings out of pure magic, that the likelihood of them having such abilities would be higher than normal. I mean, a lot of these rumors from Drake's time are tied up with tales of elves and fairies and all that. Things, for the most part, left in the old world. I do not think that these sons of his are some kind of fey creature, but perhaps they're exactly the kind of thing that would have been mistaken for one back in, well, the time when such legends were written.
Superstitions?
Indeed.
Well, I feel like there was something else. Oh, right. He has a shard, for sure. I saw it on his desk. I was so tempted to take it, but I figured that's probably not a good thing to do when entering negotiations.
In here I thought I was uniquely clever chipping off a few pieces, but...
In all admittance, the ones you chipped off were bigger.
Yes, well...
Should they be recovered?
It does make me nervous.
The Philosopher's Stone seems to be a very powerful piece of artifact that I'm not sure any one person should have, or any person in general.
Well, not only one person has it, though. Many people have it.
As far as I can tell, that there's the larger piece of the stone, which my understanding is you left behind. Then there is, and he raises his ring for the first time, actually acknowledging that he's wearing it. And the one I sent to the general, and then the third one that I gave to you that I noticed none of you are wearing.
John doesn't like meeting you.
I would have suspected he'd send it off to rejoin the larger piece.
I think that's what he did.
That being said, it seems like there are 3 pieces that are...
Confirmed.
Yes, 3 pieces that are in play, as it were, on the board.
In your best judgment, from your perspective, if all three of those pieces were also removed and put it away or destroyed, would that be for the best?
I think at the very least the one that John D has would be for the best, considering I saw most likely Rubidoux, but a figure with a piece burning down New York didn't seem overly like something positive.
That sounds actually quite terrible. Ben, Mr. Franklin, what do you think? Is it best to keep these artifacts in play as you speak?
Well, I certainly have no intention of giving up my piece, and I don't imagine the general will either.
As
The piece of the stone I sent him, I think of as insurance. Should something happen to him, the stone could be used to avoid such a grim fate, and we need him desperately. So, no, I don't think it's a good idea to take it from him.
Very
what,
well.
in your research of making magical beings, was there a situation in which one being was made and three happened?
Mm.
I'm asking because if one was bestowed favor, would the others automatically receive it as being so similarly faced as the other?
Basically, you're asking if they are essentially one soul divided into three bodies. It's an interesting idea. Certainly worth considering. I know there's some older traditions that had such views on the world.
Would killing one kill them all then, or would you have to kill all three of them to kill any of them?
If they all have a piece of the same soul, you wouldn't necessarily kill all of the soul just by killing one.
True. Like the Horcruxes, you'd have to kill all three of them.
Did we just is John D's Horcrux all of these three people?
Oh, God, I wish I had thought of that.
Started it. You started it. Or whoever was talked about one soul and three bodies.
I have great ideas sometimes. No, don't take them. I'm copywriting them.
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
want
like
you
no
to
GM ever committed copyright infringement.
I just don't want you to use them against me. I give you permission if it's not used against me.
Actually, I'm surprised none of you have picked up on the reference with the brothers. No Gargoyles fans here?
Oh, it's been too long for me since I've seen it.
They have the sisters. They're the exact same person, but with 3 different hair colors. That's where this idea originally came from.
Yeah, but they also speak in unison.
Yeah. Well, as I said, I didn't just rip off the idea completely, but that was kind of the inspiration.
I liked my idea better.
No, that is a good idea. I'd be lying if I said that that's what I was thinking when I started writing this. Not saying I won't retcon it, but yes. Meanwhile, John has gone out to the... Is anyone else going to visit Legion? I'm assuming Graham is not.
I'll go. Just give him a
Check-up.
check.
You might need that healing ability, just saying.
The downstairs bedroom where Legion is, they've kind of brought in much larger furniture.
Okay. tad bit more sturdier.
Made out of actual trees.
When you walk up, Legion is holding a wood axe and he's chopping firewood. You might feel slightly nervous at the fact that he has an axe, but, you know, he does not hold it in a threatening manner.
Could I have bought him like some dinner or something before we came here as like a gift? You know, housewarming gift.
Sure.
Okay. How much would it be for like a little housewarming gift of?
It says if you look under general expenses, player handouts, basic expenses. If you look under food, what quality of meal would you like to bring him?
Probably not a high quality, but multiple portions, and then one portion of a higher quality for his sister.
So, like, you can do 2 shillings for the good meal for the sister, and then like 12 pence for 2 of the common meals for Legion.
Okay, so one more shilling with that. Because 12 pence equal 1 shilling.
I realize that. Yeah, you get the food out there, and food. And he puts down his axe and he kind of takes the meal, and I mean, he downs the soup. Like, presumably the soup is in like has been put in a jar or something for transportation. He just downs it like a big gulp. And then proceeds to eat the bread, cheese, and meat. And I'm talking like picking the whole thing up in his hand and just downing it in a couple bites.
I hear a crunch of the bone, and I just look around and I ask where his sister is.
Sarah, home. And he points to the house.
Glad to see you're doing well. Enjoy the food. And I just probably would deliver it to the sister before meeting up with John wherever he's at.
Okay. What is John doing?
I probably would have made certain that it looked like he was doing okay, that he didn't have any. Well, yeah, my fear is that Franklin's wanting to do weird experiments on him.
So he's looking for the secret lab that was yet to have been.
All right, John checks the barn. Still no mad science lab. Legion seems pretty much the way you left him, except now he has actual pants that look like they were made for him and fit like actual pants. Not like the Hulk's pants.
Yeah.
For Legion, are his legs from the same body and the same size?
They're roughly the same size. Whether they're from the same body, who knows?
Okay, just checking.
I'm just like when you said he was made from multiple bodies. You know how in Gattaca he makes his leg longer by like a leg implant to make him taller? I feel like he has multiple legs in him. I don't feel like it's just one leg. I think it's just ignore me.
Okay. Since I haven't seen that, it's pretty easy to ignore because I don't get the reference. Fine. But yes, Legion seems fine for a guy that is, a bunch of corpses put together and raised from the dead.
Well, like I said, it's more or less the general well-being that I seems like Franklin's keeping his word of, like keeping Legion safe and whatnot. And the fact that he's splitting wood, it seems like he's capable of,
And he's
learning more
officially
as we
said
go.
more words to you now than he
Mhm.
has in the entire time that you've known him. So,
Yeah.
I mean, he did like what 4 whole words.
Yeah.
That's like 3 words more than he said to you the last time you met him.
I feel like I take credit for a lot of that, bringing food.
Sure.
But yeah, that was pretty much all I wanted to do is check on his well-being more than anything else. I don't know if Josiah had any plans or
Yeah, I guess I should give him a medical exam.
Okay, make a medicine check.
All right.
Don't roll a 0.
just suck the wound out with your mouth. Oh,
As, you,
4.
as you examine him, he seems fine as far as you can tell. His heartbeat seems strong. His reflexes are not great, but considering, you know,
the source.
Considering the
like
fact
I
that he made
mean,
him-
they're not perfect, but pretty good considering, you know, that these legs are not meant to be attached to this brain in the first place.
Fair enough.
Partially dead tissue being
Yeah.
brought back to life will have some tissue damage.
Well, the wounds that, like the places where he's sewn together, those, you know, those scars still seem very fresh. Any wounds that he had sustained from the horsemen seem almost completely gone.
Okay.
So he seems to be recovering.
Okay.
And then you don't really have the training at this time to do a cognitive exam, but as I said, seems to know more words.
Mm.
And he's combining them into like 2 words at a time. Not full sentences yet, but you know,
Okay.
progress.
How long has it been since he was created?
Oh, it's been a while, like almost a year. Because
For a 1-year-old, that's not bad though.
yeah, because he was created in the fall, and then he spent the winter fighting the horsemen in the barn, and then you guys went and killed the horse. It's been maybe more than half a year, maybe like 3/4 of a year.
For a not yet 1-year-old, that's really not that bad though.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, yeah, like very few toddlers can swing an axe and chop wood at all. They're
That's a
actually
good
not
point.
they're typically not great in a homesteading situation.
It's all muscle memory, you know.
Okay.
Now you have
No.
me.
So, do we want to head back to New York, or do we have other things we want to do here?
Trying to think if there was anything else. Thomas, is there anything you need to do?
Graham, since you've been asking, if you want silver bullets, you can procure them here. Franklin can make those arrangements.
How many can I add? I mostly actually would like to get for pistol.
I would say you can add. I'll say 5, and you can decide which go, like how many are musket and how many are pistol.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you.
I'd like to get some silver arrowheads. Just 3.
That is not something that would be as common, but yeah, all right. Franklin can provide you with that.
Okay.
I was going to say, you take a knife and you flatten it.
Yeah, like yeah, I'm certain Franklin has agents within the city who can provide you with that. And if Franklin wouldn't, I bet Carlisle could.
Is Carlisle still around?
He is. He's still kind of keeping an eye on Caesar Rodney to make sure he doesn't turn.
If Carlisle is around, I would have liked to inform him of the village if we were able to contact him. Like, because I really think that would be of interest to him.
All right.
Because blood inoculations of smallpox is something that I'm sure he
Yeah.
would be very interested in hearing about.
And once you inform Carlisle, he basically tells you he's gonna have to leave Caesar Rodney to his own devices. He's gonna head out there and.
Sorry, I didn't realize he was still in town. If I was aware of this, I would have informed him
I mean,
earlier.
he hasn't been in town like the whole time, but he's kind of
Okay.
based out of Philadelphia now. But if you tell him that, he's like, well, I'm gonna go up there, make sure there's no stragglers, and at this point, I have to trust Rodney's not gonna turn, but I'll make sure that any vamps that get away don't get away for long, and I'll see if I can find the trail of whoever did this.
The Native
That would be
Americans
very interesting.
seem to know that the town was not safe. If you know any of their language, that might not be a bad place to start.
Don't, but I can certainly find a guide or something, someone who does. All right then. You lot take care of yourselves heading to New York. It's,
You know, we have to go through New Jersey, so that's always
well, do be careful. It would be upsetting to me if you died by mortal hands after all you've been through.
plan not to die too soon.
Any other business in Philadelphia before you return to New York?
Not from me.
Okay. Then I think that's where we're going to end for tonight, if no one has anything else. And next week we'll start in New York, and it's going to start getting very action-packed, because late August is when, well, a number of the battles start up in
How did I know we were going to get sent back to New York?
because I've implied that you guys are going to kind of go where history has the most fun stuff happening, and that's for most of the rest of this year, all the fun stuff is happening in New York.
This is what my notes look like.
Very good.
It's better than mine.
For this week, everyone's getting participation, role-playing, and knowledge points. And you can spend them now, because we're not on a cliff.
So participation, knowledge.
And role-play, so 3
Okay.
points.
Okay.
Would bureaucracy be something that would be good to know?
It'd be good for someone to have it, because the more you start dealing with the actual army, I mean,
I mean, I've got 2 in bureaucracy. I'm not looking to level that up, though.
and yeah,
Okay.
and don't forget, like with a lot of this, you can use your social bonus from being in the order, because the general is in the order, so you can.
And for everything else, I'll just lie my way out of it.
Okay.
I'm going to spend all 4 of my XP on a level 2 rank in melee. Because I can't do firearms with 4 experience.
Sure. So in the coming weeks, I'll tell you, there is the action is going to start to get really intense in New York. All building toward that September peace conference on Staten Island, which historically was attended by Ben Franklin, John Adams, and Edward Rutledge. So, and Admiral Howe. I'm just adding in John D. because in real history, he was dead by then. It had been for some time.